Okay, hello everyone. So I'm going to discuss about chapter 2 concerning curve fittings. So the description for this chapter is this chapter deals with fitting a curve to a set of points with the aid of the method of least squares. Okay, the objectives are as follows. So you are expected to solve the unknown parameters of the equation of a line fit to a set of points using the method of least squares. Solve the unknown parameters of the equation of a polynomial curve fit to a set of points using the method of least squares. Solve the unknown parameters of some nonlinear equation fit to a set of points such that the nonlinear equation is transformable to a linear equation. No? Now, we have this first topic called fitting a line to a set of points by the method of least squares. So, suppose we wish to fit a straight line whose equation is y hat equals a plus bx with the endpoints. So we have x sub 1 and y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and so forth and so on. No? So note that there is a big possibility that such line will not pass through on each point indicated. No? So let me illustrate that. So as you notice here, we have the points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and so forth and so on until x sub 6, y sub 6. So in this example, this is the approximated line. Now, considering all of the points now in the plane, x and y axis. Now, so in this case, we are to fit a line. Now, considering all the points, we are to fit a line. And to do that, we will apply the method of least squares. No? So our topic is fitting a line to a set of points. So we have set of points. So in this example, we have 6 points. Okay. So, and in that case, we are to fit a line given these 6 points in our example using the method of least squares. No? Okay. So this is now the equation uh, of the line that will be obtained using the method of least squares, which is read as y hat is equals to a plus bx. No? So in this case, we'll talk now in detail about this method. No? So we have this line and we have the set of points. Okay. So we have in this example, we have 6 points. And this is the equation y hat equals a plus bx. So we have at x sub I, y sub I. So there is a greater chance that y sub I is not equal to y sub I hat. No? So thus we can compute the discrepancy or deviation. No? Delta sub I equals to y sub I minus y sub I hat. No? So this is x sub I, y sub I. Okay. So at x sub I, y sub I, there is a greater chance that y sub I is not equal to y sub I hat. No? So let's say x sub 1, y sub 1. Okay. So there is a greater chance that y sub 1 is not equal to y sub 1 hat. No? So ibig sabihin yan, meron kang actual point. Meron kang approximating point. So ito yung actual point natin. x1, y1. Ngayon, meron kang approximating point. No? x1, y1 hat. Okay? So let me illustrate that. So, kunin ko lang yung aking pen na pansulat. Okay, ito yon. So, ito yung ating okay, ito yon. So, this is the actual point, no? So, that's the actual point. And there is now a gap between the actual point and the approximating point. So, this is the approximating point obtained using, we can determine this point, no? We first apply method of least squares, and then after that we can determine this point. Now what's the y1 hat value? Okay, so in this example, so this is the actual point x sub 1 y sub 1, and this is x sub 2 y sub 2. Okay, this is the actual point and this is the approximating point, no? X sub 2 y sub 2, x sub 2 y sub 2 hat, no? Ito yung x sub 2 y sub 2 hat. Then in this case, meron naman tayo dito x sub 3 y sub 3, ito yung actual point, approximating point na nandito. So this is x sub 3 y sub 3 hat, no? Okay? So ngayon, at x sub I, y sub I, let's say x sub 1, y sub 1. Okay, so y sub 1 is not equal to y sub 1 hat. That's, there is a greater chance na hindi sila equal. Okay, so thus we can compute the discrepancy or deviation. Delta sub I equals to y sub I minus y sub I hat. No? So kumbaga ito yung error natin. No? So, kumbaga, meron tayong delta 1, delta sub 1, delta sub 2, no? So, delta sub 1, that is y sub 1 minus y sub 1 hat. So, ito yung actual value, no? Ito yung approximated value ng y, no? So, ganun din dito, y sub 2 minus y sub 2 hat. Okay? Actual value, okay, minus the approximated value of y. Okay? And then, if delta I equals to 0, no, then x sub I, y sub I lies in the line whose equation is y hat equals to a plus bx and also satisfies the equation y equals to a plus bx. No? So, in a case where delta I equals to 0, no, anong ibig sabihin yan pag yung delta I natin ay 0? No? So, pagka nag-0 yan, anong mangyayari? 0 equals to yi minus yi hat. Therefore, yi hat is equals to yi. So, ibig sabihin yan, kung ano yung approximated value ng y, yun yung actual value ng y. No? Kapag ang discrepancy or deviation natin ay 0, kumbaga, no error, no? Okay? Yung gap, no, is 0. Pag yung gap ay 0, yung deviation or discrepancy ay 0, the two are equal, no? So then x sub I, y sub I lies on the line whose equation is y hat equals a plus bx, no? So sabihin niyan, kung yun ay x sub 1, y sub 1, no? So, kumbaga, nandito yung x sub 1, y sub 1, mapupunta doon. It lies on this line, y hat equals to a plus bx, no? Na it lies in this line. And also satisfies the equation y equals to a plus bx. So, ibig sabihin niyan, yung y hat equals a plus bx, no? So, sabihin niyan, Yun din yung y equals to a plus bx. No? So, in cases, pagka yung lahat ng points na yan, no, sakto doon sa approximated line natin. No? Using methods of least squares, malalaman natin yung line na to. Okay? So, pagka ganon, yung y natin equals to a plus bx equals just approximated na y hat equals a plus bx. No? So, we can continue. So, to measure how well the line fits the set of points as a whole, we use this formula. No? E is equals to summation delta sub I squared from I equals to 1 to n. No? So this is a measurement how well the line fits the set of points as a whole. No? So itong E na to, no, I will discuss this in detail mamaya. So let's move na dito sa point na to, ay sa graph na to. So in here, if E is 0, okay, anong interpretation niyan? All of the points lie on the line whose equation is y hat equals to a plus bx, and the equation y equals to a plus bx is also satisfied. So, ibig sabihin niyan, pag lahat ng points mo, no, nasa y hat equals a plus bx na line, okay, pag lahat ng points mo nandito, ibig sabihin niyan, e is 0. Perfect, di ba? All of the points lie on the line. Okay? So, whose equation is y hat equals to a plus bx. Okay? So, ito yon. And the equation y equals to a plus bx is also satisfied. So, ibig sabihin yan, yan din yung y equals a plus bx. Okay? Yan din yung y equals a plus bx. So, take note, delta I squared. So, ibig sabihin yan, delta 1 squared plus delta 2 squared, no? Plus and so forth hanggang dun sa delta sub n squared. So sa example na to, so meron kang delta 1 dito, meron kang delta 2, okay? Meron kang delta 3, delta 4, delta 5, delta 6. So hanggang 6 yan, no? Delta 1 squared plus delta 2 squared plus delta 3 squared plus delta 4 squared plus delta 5 squared plus delta 6 squared. Okay? So, yun yung pagkuha ng value ng E. No? Pag yung E natin ay 0, all of the points lie on the line. Okay? So, the larger the value of E, the farther the points are on the average. Okay? So, on the average, pagka yung E natin ay super laki, in general, masasabi natin, yung mga points na to na x1, y1, x2, y2, hanggang x6, y6, no? Pag yung E ay malaki, masasabi natin na malayo sila sa line na to, na y hat equals a plus bx, no? So, masasabi natin na malaki yung gap, no, in general, ng line na to sa mga set of points. Okay? Sa set of points na to. X sub 1 until x sub 6. Okay? Ngayon, The least squares criterion states that the parameters a and b should be chosen so as to make the sum of the squares of the deviations e as small as possible. Okay, so we have here the least squares criterion. Okay, stating that excuse me, the parameters a and b. So itong parameter a and parameter b should be chosen so as to make the sum of the squares of the deviations. So yung e natin, sum of the squares of the deviation, no? Sum of the squares of the deviation as small as possible. So para magawa yon na as small as possible, gagamit tayo ng method of least squares. Okay? Gagamit tayo ng method of least squares in order to determine A and B. Parameters A and B. So, ano yung parameter A dyan? Ano yung parameter B niya? B dyan. Okay? So, we can now proceed. So, derivation of the two normal equations by the method of least squares. Now, so let us derive the two normal equations. So, in this case, we have the graph. Considering the graph, paano ba nakuha itong line na to? Y hat equals a plus bx. Applying the method of least squares. No? Applying the method of least squares. So, ang gawin muna natin, we get the discrepancy or the deviation. Okay? Kada point. Okay? Kada point, x1, y1 at saka yung x1 by 1 hat, considering the 2, for I equals to 1. Okay? So, kunin natin yung y1 minus y1 hat. Okay? So, ito yung general formula, delta I equals yi minus yi hat. Okay? So, yung deviation na yan, okay, kukunin natin ngayon yung e, sum of the squares of the deviation. No? So, sabi natin, yung e is a measure how well the line fits the set of points. No? How well the line fits the set of points as a whole. No? So, in this case, ito yung method na gagamitin natin. Substitution, isa-substitute natin yung delta sub I in terms of y sub I minus y sub I hat. Okay? So, we will substitute. And then, yung y sub I hat, no? So, in this case, so yung y, dahil yan ay y hat equals a plus bx, so pwede natin gawin na yi hat equals a plus bx sub I. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin yon in terms na merong I. Okay? So, a plus b x sub I. And then, we can able to simplify. We distribute the minus sign inside the parenthesis. So, we'll obtain y sub I minus a minus bx sub I. Okay? And then, we square it. Then, we take the summation. Now, to minimize the value of e, no? To minimize the value of e, so we apply derivative, no? We take the derivative of e with respect to a. So this is a lesson in calculus, a topic about maxima and minima, no? Sa calculus, differential calculus. So, I hope na-aral nyo yon, maxima and minima. So, delta e, no? The partial derivative of e with respect to a. no? Del symbol yan, okay? So, partial derivative of E with respect to A, no? Excuse me. So, we take the partial derivative of both sides with respect to A, no? So, ang A natin na parameter considered as variable, no? Considered yan as variable. Pag kinuha natin yung partial derivative, no? So, lessons sa DE, sa differential equation, pag partial derivative, yung ibang variable, tinitreat natin constant, right? Pag tinake natin yung partial derivative. So, ganun din dito. If we take the partial derivative of both sides of the equation, so we have partial derivative of E with respect to A equals partial derivative of the summation y sub I minus A minus B x sub I squared from I equals to 1 to n. So, excuse me. So, we can take now the derivative. So, if we take the derivative, pwede nating ilagay yung delta over delta A sa loob ng summation, no? And then we now take the derivative applying chain rule, diba? So, delta E over delta A, or should I say del E over del A, no? Equals to summation. Okay, meron tayo ditong 2. Bakit may 2? So, recall nga natin, pagkuha ng derivative ng isang function, let's say derivative of x to the power of n, that is n x raised to n minus 1. Okay? So, ganun din. Pareho din. Pag del symbol ang ginamit natin. Okay? Ganun pa rin naman. Okay? Partial derivative. Ito, ordinary derivative. Ito, partial derivative. Okay? So, in this case, meron tayo bring down to, yun yung n. Tapos, yi minus a minus bx sub I, 2 minus 1, so magiging 1. Tapos, ide-derivative mo yung nasa loob. Ito. Okay? Ide-derivative mo yung nasa loob. Ilalagay mo dito. Yung derivative niya. Diba? So, in that case, kasi meron pa yan times derivative nito ng x with respect to x. Okay? 1 kasi yan dito. Pero, ganun ang process. Ide-derivative mo pa yung nasa loob. Kung ano yung value, kung ano yung expression ng x in terms of other variables kung meron. No? So, in this case, yi is constant, kaya 0 derivative. A is a variable. Derivative ng A with respect to A is 1, kaya minus 1. And then b is a parameter. Dahil partial derivative ang ginamit natin, yung b na yan parameter treated as constant. No? Actually, variable din siya na nagagamit dyan, pero dahil partial derivative, we treat it as constant. Then x sub I is a constant. Okay? X sub I is a constant. So, derivative ng bxi is 0 dahil parehong constant. Okay? So, 0 now, minus 1, minus itong bxi, ang derivative niya ay 0. Okay? So, we now proceed. So, we have here delta E over delta A, del E over del A, no? Equals to summation to y, okay, negative yi. So, distribute natin yan minus sign. Okay, sa loob. So, minus yi minus a minus yi plus a plus bx sub I. Okay, and then again, we take the derivative of both sides. Ganito yung process ng pag-apply ng method of least squares. No, i-derivative na ulit natin. So, ito for verification. Malalaman natin dito kung na-minimize yung e using the second derivative test. No? Application, lesson yan sa differential calculus kung umabot kayo. Second derivative test to determine whether e is a maximum or e is a minimum. No? So, we take the derivative of, again with respect to a of both sides. So, pag kinuha natin yung partial derivative with respect to a again, so del squared e, no, over del a squared. Okay? So, del a squared equals 2 summation. Okay? Tapos yung derivative natin yung nasa loob, a plus b xi minus yi. Okay? And then, ano yung derivative ng a plus b xi minus yi? So, derivative ng a with respect to a, 1. Derivative of bxi with respect to a. So, pag walang a, ibig sabihin yan, treat as constant. So, 0. Derivative of negative yi with respect to a, 0. Dahil constant. Okay? The derivative of a constant is 0, right? So, next, this will now be the simplified equation. Okay? And ano ang summation 1? From I equals to 1 to n. Ibig sabihin niyan, i-add mo yan n times. For I equals to 1, 1 siya. For I equals to 2, dahil summation, plus 1 ulit. For I equals to 3, plus 1 ulit. Hanggang umabot ka ng, hanggang maging umabot n times ka mag-add ng 1. N times. No? Kung iyan ay 5, 5 times ka mag-add ng 1. To itself, 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay? Ang plus 1 plus 1. 5 times if n is 5. No? So, in short, ganito lang yan. Ayan. So, 2, and then, quantity, 1 plus etc. hanggang umabot ka. So, kumbaga, n lahat yan. No? Yung bilang ng mga yan, 1, 1, 1, and so forth, n. N ang bilang nila. Okay? If n is 5, 5 lahat ng 1 na nandyan. Okay? Okay, so, ganun yon. So, in this case, so, 1, 1, 1, and so forth, ang simplified niya ay n. Right? Kung ang n mo ay 5, so, ibig sabihin, mag-a-add ka ng 5 1. E di, 5 yon. And yun din ang n mo, right? Okay, yan din yung n mo. Okay, so sabihin yan, if you add 1, no, to itself n times, that is simply n. No? And since n is a positive integer, no? Ang n natin ay isang positive integer. Okay? Kung sinabi nating integer, it is a number that is not decimal, di ba? So, positive integer. So, sabihin yan, positive 1, positive 2, etc. Then, 2n will always be positive. Dahil positive, ang n natin ay positive integer. Therefore, 2n will always be positive. So, therefore, the minimum value of e can be obtained, no, by setting delta e over delta a equals to 0. Dahil na-satisfy ito, delta squared e over delta a squared is greater than 0. No? So, sabihin niyan, e is minimized. No? E is minimized. Okay? So, if e is minimized, no? So, we can able to determine the minimum value of e. No? We can able to determine the minimum value of e. Okay? So, take note, no? This is true if the second derivative of e with respect to a is greater than 0. Pag greater than 0, e is minimum. Pag less than 0, e is maximum. Okay? So, sabihin niyan, delta squared e over delta a squared is positive. Kasi ano siya 2n Diba? So, kasi yan ay 2n. 2n is greater than 0. Therefore, e is minimum. Okay? O dahil na-minimize yung e, masasolve natin yung corresponding value ng a. Masasolve natin yung value ng a. No? Okay? So, at the same time, malalaman din natin ano yung minimum value ng e na yan. Okay? So, thus, summation 2 multiplied by negative yi plus a plus bxi equals to 0. No? So, ito yung ating equation. No? So, paano nakuha yan? This is, ito kasi yung delta E over delta A, no? Sa aking previous slide, equal yan dito. Okay, summation to negative yi plus a plus bxi. Equate natin sa 0, kaya naka-equal sa 0. Okay? Ngayon, malalaman natin yung a and b dyan. No? Malalaman natin yung a and b dyan. Magkakaroon tayo ng equation ngayon in terms of a and b. No? So, kailangan, para malaman yung a and b, kailangan meron pa tayong isang equation na i-derive natin later. No? So, simplifying the equation, no? So, dahil yung 2 ay constant, we can divide both sides by 2. Mawawala yung 2 dito, yung 0 over 2 magiging 0 pa rin. Okay? So, that is only true if there's a constant. No? Pwedeng i-divide natin. Okay? Tapos magiging masisimplify na ganito. And then, ito yung simplification. If we have summation, let's say a plus b plus c, no? Kung meron kang ina-add, no? Na tatlo, a plus b plus c. So, sabihin niya, summation a plus summation b plus summation c. Yan ang ibig sabihin niya. So, ibig sabihin niya, summation a plus summation bxi plus summation negative yi equals 0. Okay? And then, itong summation a from I equals to 1 to n, pwede nating isulat na ganyan. Kasi constant siya eh. So, pwede nating isulat sa left. So, magiging A summation 1 na lang nun. Diba? A times 1 is A, right? So, A summation 1 from I equals to 1 to N. Plus, B is constant. So, anuhin natin? Isolate. Okay? So, isolate natin. So, we have plus B summation X sub I from I equals to 1 to N. Minus. So, kasi plus minus. So, minus summation yi from I equals to 1 to N equals to 0. So, ito ngayon yung ating first normal equation. Okay? So, meron ka ditong 1 na i-add mo n times sa sarili niya. That is n. Diba? Kaya, ito ay n. A times n is NA. Diba? NA. And then plus B summation xi from I equals to 1 to N. Okay? Then we transpose this summation y sub I from I equals to 1 to N. Okay? So this is, so tawag ngayon natin dyan, sa nakuha natin, normal equation. Ibig sabihin yan, normal equation ang tawag dyan pag nag-apply tayo ng method of least squares. No? Pag nag-apply tayo ng method of least squares, ang tawag natin sa na-derive na equation na yan ay normal equation. Okay. And then, since E equals to summation yi minus a minus bxi squared from I equals to 1 to n, then, kanina, nag-partial derivative ako with respect to A. Ngayon, mag-partial derivative ako with respect to B. Same process lang gagawin, no? So, pag ginawa ko yan, simplify ko. So, pwede kong ilagay yung derivative symbol sa loob ng summation. Okay? And then, ide-derivative ko na. Okay? Ide-derivative ko na. So, chain rule. Bring down to. Then, copy yi minus a minus bxi. 2 minus 1 is 1. Derivative of the inside. Ito. 0 minus 0 minus x of I. 0 dahil with respect to b, this is constant, right? So 0 derivative. With respect to b, this is constant. 0 derivative. No? With respect to b, xi yung constant. Yung b, variable. No? So, derivative ng b with respect to b is 1 times x of I is x of I. Kaya minus x of I. Okay? So, that's it. So, and then, pwede nating i-distribute. So, minus x sub I, multiply natin. Okay. O, multiply natin. So, minus x sub I, y sub I, plus a x sub I, plus b, x sub I squared. No? And then, we take the derivative. Second derivative na tayo. Okay? Magsa-second derivative tayo para masigurado natin that E is minimized. No? E is minimized. Okay? So, let's do it. So, magiging del squared E over del B squared equals to summation del negative xi yi plus axi plus bxi squared, okay, over del b. So, second derivative of e, second partial derivative of e with respect to b is equals to 2 summation. Ano yung derivative ngayon ng negative xi yi with respect to b? Dahil walang b dyan, 0. No? Derivative of axi with respect to b, 0 din dahil walang b. Ito may b. Derivative nitong b ay 1 times xi squared is xi squared. Kaya xi squared. Okay? And then, we proceed. Ayan. Ito na yung simplified equation. So, sabihin nito, x sub 1 squared. For I equals to 1, x sub 1 squared. For I equals to 2, x sub 2 squared. Hanggang umabot ka ng x sub n squared. Okay? Add mo lahat yan. Since for any value of I, x sub I squared, excuse me, is a positive number. Diba? Pag yung isang number, in-square mo, laging positive yan. Then, 2 summation, 2 times x sub 1 squared plus x sub 2 squared, and so forth, will always be positive. So, laging positive yan. This will always be positive. Okay? So, dahil positive siya, no, e is minimized. No? Dahil positive, greater than 0 siya. Pag greater than 0, okay, e is a minimum. No? E is a minimum. Okay? This is a lesson in differential calculus. I hope na-aral nyo yun, no? So, the minimum value of E can be obtained by setting delta E over delta B, del E over del B equals to 0, no? Okay. So, set natin equals to 0. So, yung del E over del B, ano yung nakuha natin? Ito yun, di ba? So, okay. So, sabihin niyan, equate natin to sa 0. Kaya meron kang 2 negative xi yi plus axi plus bxi squared from I equals to 1 to n. Equate natin ng 0. Yan, no? So, equate natin yan ng 0 in short. Kaya meron tayo nito. Okay? O ngayon, masasolve na natin madi-derive na natin ngayon yung equation. No? Yung equation. So, in this case, we divide both sides by 2. Mawawala yung 2. 0 pa rin nun. And then, negative. Ito, simplify na natin. Summation negative xi yi from I equals to 1 to n can be written as negative summation xi yi from I equals to 1 to n. Plus, so yung a, no? Plus summation axi can be written as a summation xi from I equals to 1 to n. Summation bxi squared can be written as b summation xi squared from I equals to 1 to n. Applying the properties of summation, no? Equals to 0. Then we simplify. So, transpose natin ito sa right side. Okay? Tapos ito magre-retain sa left side. Ito na ngayon yung second normal equation. Ayan. Okay? So, that is our second normal equation. Okay? Obtained applying the methods of least squares. The method of least squares. Thus, by the method of least squares, A and B can be determined considering the two normal equations. So, ito yung summary. Okay? So, memorize nyo na lang ang haba ng derivation. Okay? And A plus B summation xi equals summation yi. A summation xi plus B summation xi squared equals summation xi yi. Diba? So, yun yun. And then, so yung dalawa na yan, considering those. Okay? Ito na ngayon yung malalaman mo na ngayon yung A and B. Kasi meron kang two equations, first and second. Yung first equation, may A and B. Second equation, may A and B. Okay? So, malalaman mo yung A and B using numerical solutions of systems of linear equation. No? Numerical solution of system of linear equations. Naaral na natin yun sa chapter 1, kaya madali na lang ito. So we can now proceed. Such that, okay, this is satisfied. A plus bx1 equals y1. No? So sabihin niyan, y1 is equals to a plus bx1. Okay? And y2 equals to a plus bx2. Okay? y3, yun yung actual, no? Yun yung mga actual points. Actual y coordinate, no? Actual y coordinates. Okay. So, in this case, hanggang umabot ka sa huli, yung yn. So, y6 equals a plus bx sub 6. Okay? So, yun yung mga actual. Yun yung actual, no? So, we now proceed. So, ating problem, let's apply the method of least squares to solve this problem. By the method of least squares, fit a line y hat equals a plus bx to the points. No? So, ito yung mga points natin. So, we will fit a line y hat equals a plus bx to the points. So, given n equals to 5, so 5 points yan. No? Okay. 1, 2, first point, second point, third point, fourth, and fifth. Kaya 5. Okay? We have n equals to 5 points. Let y equals a plus bx. Yun ang first procedure. Yun ang next procedure, no? So, we will let y equals to a plus bx. So, at negative 1, ito yun. X equals negative 1, y equals to negative 1. Okay, substitute natin, gawin natin ito negative 1, gawin din natin ito negative 1. Okay, ating equation, di ba? So, yan yung magiging equation. Tapos, at 0, 2, ito yung magiging equation. Kasi x is 0, cancel. Mawawala yun. So, a is equals to 2. So, ito ay 2, di ba? So, y yun. A equal 2 equals a, right? And then, at 2, 9, ito, 9 equals a plus 2b. At 3, 10, ito, 10 equals a plus 3b. At 5, 14, 14 equals a plus 5b. Okay? Applying method of least squares, here's the first normal equation. Memorize yun na lang. Na plus b summation xi from I equals to 1 to n equals summation yi over the range from I equals 1 to n. No? So, 5a plus 5 plus b, 5a plus b. Bakit siya 5a plus b? Ang n natin ay 5. Right? Ang n natin ay 5 as given 5 points. Plus b summation xi from I equals to 1 to 5. No? Ang n natin ay 5 kasi, no? So, 5. And then, substitute natin yung mga points. So, add lahat natin. X sub 1 plus x sub 2. Ito yun. Hanggang umabot ka ng x sub 5. X sub 3, x sub 4, x sub 5. Ganon din sa kabila. no? Summation yi, y1 plus y2. So y1, negative 1 plus 2 plus 9 plus 10 plus 14. So ang simplified, ang makukuha nating equation ay 5a plus 9b equals 34. So this is our normal equation number 1. Second normal equation, ito yon, a summation x sub I from I equals to 1 to n plus b summation x sub I squared over the range from I equals to 1 to n equals summation x sub I y sub I over the range from I equals to 1 to n. So we have here, ang n natin ay 5. Okay. And then, simplify. So, yung itong summation xi, yan yung x1 plus x2 until x5, xi squared, x1 squared plus x2 squared until x5 squared, xiyi, x1y1 plus x2y2 until x5y5. Okay? So, sabihin yan, itong x1, x2. So, negative 1 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5. Makuha mo yon. Tapos dito, negative 1 squared plus 0 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 5 squared. Makukuha mo yan. x1, y1, x2, y2 hanggang x5, y5. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 0 times 2 plus 2 times 9 plus 3 times 10 plus 5 times 14. Makukuha mo to. Okay? And then we have the normal equation now. 9a plus 39b equals 119. This is the second normal equation. Solving for a and b. Okay, alam nyo nang gawin yan. Kung paano makuha yung a and b. Kasi you have the two equations, right? Naturo ko na yung Cramer's rule, iba't ibang klase ng rule na iba't ibang klase ng solution like Gauss-Seidel, Gauss-Jacobi, Gauss-Jordan, Gauss-elimination. So, kahit alin sa mga yon pwedeng i-apply. No? So, pagka in-apply mo yon, malalaman mo na yung A na 2.237, yung B malalaman mo rin na 2.535. So, taas, ito yung equation natin. Y hat equals 2.237 plus 2.53x. Yan yung ating equation, no? Na mag-approximate, no? Dun sa lahat ng points, no? Kumbaga, yan yung ating approximating line, no? Okay? So, ito yung graph, no? Ng ating y hat equals 2.237 plus 2.53x, no? Y hat, okay, 2.237. So, pwede nyo mag-graph yan using Excel, no? Plus 2.535x. Okay? So, yan yung ano. So, kung mapapansin nyo, ito yung blue yung sa mga actual points, no? Yung red yung yung approximating point. Okay? Yung red. Okay? So, ito actual, malayo, no? Malayo siya sa line. Okay? Ito malayo sa line. Ito malapit sa line, yung dito sa point na to, tsaka yun, no? Yung red and blue, halos mag-coincide, no? Okay. So, yan yung actual graph, no? So, yan yung actual graph ng y hat equals 2.237 plus 2.53x. And take note, hindi natin na-expect na magko-coincide, di ba? Kaya nga approximation lang. Okay? So we can now proceed with this activity. You simulate the solution of the given problem using Excel, such that when the given 5 data points, x and y values are changed, a new equation is formed. Okay? So, ito yung papagawa ko sa inyo, no? Simulate the solution of the given problem using Excel such that when the given 5 data points, x and y values are changed, a new equation is formed. No? So, in short, pag halimbawa, nagiba ako ng given, xy, ito, nagiba ako ng given sa 5 points na yan, dapat tama pa rin ang sagot. No? Tama pa rin ang sagot. Okay? So let me illustrate that with ito yon. Ito, by the method of least squares, ito mismo yung gagawin nyo. No? Hindi ko bibigay yung file na to sa inyo dahil ito nga yung gagawin nyo na activity. Okay? So ito yung mga given ko, negative 1, 0, 2, 3, 5, x1, y1, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, diba? Ayan. So tapos dito, para hindi ako malito, yung ginawa ko, yung A ginawa kong z sub 1, yung B ginawa kong z sub 2. Okay? Tapos naglagay ako dito ng z sub 1. Nasa inyo kung ano yung gusto niyo, kung gusto niyo pa rin ay A and B, okay lang. Prefer ko lang ng ganitong format, no? So z sub 1, no? So kumbaga, yun yung coefficient ng z sub 1 ay 1, right? Yun ang magre-represent na c sub i1. Okay? Then z sub 2, okay? C sub i2, z sub 2, no? So, yung magre-represent nung x ay c sub i2. Tapos, meron ka ditong di, yun yung magre-represent dun sa y. Kasi meron ka dito nga y sub I equals z sub 1 plus z sub 2 x sub I. So, yung x sub I ko, gagawin ko siyang c sub I2. Okay? Yung y ko na d sub, yung y ko naman, okay, ito, y sub I, gagawin ko siyang d sub I. Okay? It's up to you kung ganito na kasi yung prefer ko, no? So, where A equals to z sub 1, B equals to z sub 2. No? Okay, so ito yung ating example. Okay, meron tayo ditong n equals to 5. 5 points, di ba? Okay. So, ang 5 na yan, binilang ko yon, binilang yan. Okay. Tapos, ito naman, dahil laging 1 naman yan, kaya pwede mong lagay na 1 lahat yan. Laging 1 naman lahat kasi dahil dito sa equation na to. z1 plus z2x. No? Tapos dito, yung ci2. Ano yung ci2? X. X sub I. Yung x sub I ko, yun yung ci2. X sub I. Negative 1. Okay. 0. Yan yung x sub I ko. For I equals to 2. X sub 2. X sub 3. Ito yan. Okay? Kumbaga, ano yan? C sub 3 to. Okay, yun nagre-represent sa aking x sub 3. And so forth and so on, no? Tapos yung d sub I ko ay yung yi. O, negative 1, di ba? Ayun, negative 1, di ba? P7 equals P7. Ito naman, 2. No? y sub 2, d sub 2, ganyan, no? Hanggang umabot ka dito sa last, f7, no? And then, meron ka ditong m equals to 2 linear equations, no? So, ginawa ko dito, gumamit ako ng count kung ilan yung numbers dito, 1, negative 1, negative 1. Kung ilan yung numbers doon, minus 1. So, magkakaroon ako ng 2 normal equations, no? Okay? Kasi meron ako ditong CI1, CI2, D sub 1, D sub I, no? So, magkakaroon ako ng 2 normal equations. Or, pwede na rin gawin nyo na lang 2. Kasi, ang topic naman natin ay, method of least squares, no? For, for a line, no? Method of least squares for a line. So, we have here, ito yung para sa second normal equation. So, 2 normal equation tayo. So, M is 2, then J. So, ito naman yung gumamit ako dito sum product, no? M equals to 2, no? In short, tignan nga natin yung sa Excel. Ayan, no? Ito. Kasi ang goal natin ay ito. 'Di ba? At negative 1, negative 1. O, negative 1 equals a minus b. No? So, ito 'yon. Negative 1, yun yung y. A minus b. So, yung a, yun yung ito. Ito yung 1a. Kumbaga, z1 is a, right? Then, b, negative 1. Okay, negative 1. Negative 1b, z2. Hanggang umabot ka dito. Okay, 5b. 5b, tapos 1a, di ba? Equals 14. Ayan. Tapos, ito. So, dahil meron ka ditong, so meron ako ditong a summation xi from I equals to 1 to 5 plus b summation xi squared from I equals to 1 to 5 equals summation xi yi from I equals to 1 to 5. So, in-apply ko siya dito. No? Excuse me. So, ito lang. 'Di ba, yung CI1 is 1. So, 1xi. Ang xi natin ay C sub ij siya dito. No? C sub ij. Pwede nyo naman wag i-follow ito. No? Kung nalilito kayo dito. No? Preferred ko lang na ganito. Kasi, gagamitin kasi natin yan pagka nag-discuss ako sa next topic. No? Okay? So, yan. So, A, x1 plus x2 plus x5. Okay, apply nyo yun. So, magkakaroon ka ng 34 dito. 5, ayun, 5A plus 9B equals 34. Okay? 5A plus 9B equals 34. Ayan. Para sa normal equation na to. No? Para sa pagkuha ng mga normal equations. 5A plus 9B equals 34. Okay? And then, para sa second normal equation, ito yon, 9A plus 39B equals 119. 9A plus 39B equals 119. Okay? So, advice ko, ibahin nyo to, yung mga yan, para di kayo malito. Kasi gagamitin kasi natin yan, yung ganyang mga notation pagka nakarating tayo sa ibang topic dito sa chapter, no? So, kumbaga, general ito. Ito yung mga general notation. Kumbaga, ano lang to applicable lang to pagka line ang pinag-uusapan. Kaya ito, kahit hindi line ang pinag-uusapan, ma-apply mo to. Yung mga yan. No? Okay? So, ito muna yung concentrate nyo. So, 34. So, gumamit ako ng sum product, no? Para makuha yung sagot. Pero nasa inyo kung anong prefer nyo, no? And then, makukuha mo yung sagot na 9A plus 39B equals 119. Okay? Ayan. Tapos, meron ka ng dalawang normal equation. Pwede kayong gumamit ng Gauss Seidel para makuha yung sagot. No? Ito, ibang version ng Gauss Seidel. Ibang version ng Gauss Seidel. Kumbaga, diretso na siya. Meron ka ng Z1, Z2, tapos initial values. Okay. And then, ito, first iteration, makuha mo yung Z1, Z2. Kumbaga, ano yan A and B. A and B. Diba? So, tapos, yan. Hanggang umabot ka sa final answer. So, ito ngayon yung ating sagot. 2.236842. No? Ito, 2.3682842 plus 2.535. So, 3 significant figure lang yung aking in-apply. No? So, pwede naman natin gawin 3 significant figures. Ayan. So, 2.237 plus 2.535x. Ayun. Yun ang sagot. Okay? Tapos, pwedeng i-graph. No? Pero di naman pinapakuha yung graph. Kaya, ito lang naman yung Pero pwede nyo i-graph. No? Using Excel. Okay. So, that's all. Okay. I hope you get it. So, sige, class. We can now end here. Good day, everyone.